All right. Thank you. Yeah, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Yes, as Dee said, my name is Chelsea Deaconson. I'm here from UW Autism Center. My role at the UW Autism Center is I am located on our Tacoma campus, and I have worked in our ABA launch program, which I will talk about in a bit. And I'm transitioning to the Director of Training and Consultation Services, which I'll also talk about. And so, yeah, I'm excited to talk to you about everything that UW Autism Center provides and things that we are, hoping to continue to provide in the future, um, as well as some resources for you all. Feel free as I'm talking to go ahead and put questions in the chat, and I would be so happy to answer those as we go. I know that there's a lot of services and there's probably a lot of questions as well. All right, so a little history about UW Autism Center. So UW Autism Center has been around for a long time. So we opened on the Seattle campus in the year 2000 as part of an endowment. And then we opened on the Tacoma campus in 2004. So not many people know that we do have a small autism center on the Tacoma campus. And so we do have presence in the South Sound area. I'll tell you a little bit about what's located on the Tacoma campus, but I'll also tell you about the services that are on our Seattle campus because many of them can be done via telehealth. So they are accessible to people in other areas. You don't have to get on I-5 and sit in traffic to access a lot of these services. All right, we can go to the next slide. All right, so first of all, one of the things that we offer is autism evaluations and diagnosis. And so obviously, this is a really important part of what we do. One of the things that I love about the way UW Autism Center does these evaluations is that we do not require a doctor referral. So that means that parents can, or anyone who's interested can go online and sign up to join our wait list for those autism evaluations on their own. We don't require a doctor referral to do that. We do prioritize children under 3. So I always tell people when you have a child, maybe who's 18 months, 2 years old, and you're concerned or you're working with a family who's concerned, it's a good idea to get on that wait list now because we do prioritize under 3. For children over 3, we see them as well. The wait is a little bit longer. And our wait times really vary by the age of the child, but also the location. So we do evaluations in the Seattle area as well as at our Tacoma campus. Unfortunately, at this time, we do not do evaluations or diagnoses for adults, people over age 18. And so just want to let you know that. But one of the things that we do every year and we have on demand is a great webinar done by my coworker, Dr. Lucas Harrington, called Could I Be Autistic? And this is designed for adults who are thinking about if they would qualify for a diagnosis and talking through what that would mean, what the process is, and if it's something that would fit into their lives to get an official diagnosis or not. And so I'm going to put the link to that in the chat. Our live version of this has passed, but you can actually get it on demand and do a self-paced course as well. The other thing that we don't do is we don't do reevaluations. So every once in a while, we'll have people reach out and say that they'd like to get reevaluated. And unfortunately, our wait lists are so long for those initial evaluations, that's just not something that we do. Okay, we can go to the next slide. So let's talk about what that evaluation and diagnosis process would look like. So typically, these evaluations take place over the course of 4 or so appointments. It starts with like a records review. So we ask for all the records that a person may have. For younger kids, this might mean their early intervention evaluation. For older kids, we would also be looking at school records, any IEPs, other psychological or developmental evaluations. And then we typically do an intake interview. This usually happens over Zoom. A parent or and the child would meet with the clinician and just talk through some of the concerns, why they're looking for an evaluation. And then third, we do some testing. So we use evidence-based evaluations. We typically use an ADOS module. We also have clinicians who use the TAP evaluation, which is a telehealth version of diagnosing that can take that is designed for toddlers. And then we follow that up with a feedback meeting. So once we have our clinicians have looked at the evaluation results, they write a report and they have a feedback meeting where they sit down with families, they talk through the report, but they also want to give out a lot of resources and point families to next steps, whether that's therapies or school supports or whatever that particular family and child might need. Okay, we can go to the next slide. So that's our autism evaluation. There is something really new and exciting at our Tacoma campus that Dr. Sarah Woods, who's our clinical psychologist there, wanted me to pass on. So she is starting a new program there. Oops, can we go back one more? I think. Oh no, maybe, you know what? Go for it. I lost my slides. Never mind. We'll go. I'll tell you about the new program in a second. So let's talk about clinical services. So we do offer clinical services after the evaluation, and these clinical services are open to people who got diagnosed at our location and those who didn't get diagnosed at our location. All you need is an autism diagnosis. And again, we don't require doctor referrals for any of these interventions. You can just go online and sign yourself up. So some of the things that we offer first is therapy for adolescents, adults, and parents. So these therapy generally takes place over Zoom. We do some therapy in person. Our approach is typically a CBT approach, a cognitive behavior therapy approach. We do have clinicians who specialize in other approaches. For example, Dr. Lucas Harrington really enjoys using a collaborative and proactive solutions approach. And that's a great one where parents and children work together to solve conflicts. We also have a parent-focused therapy. And this is something I really love because so much autism intervention is focused on parent skills, right? How you're interacting with your child or teen. But there's not a lot of checking in on the parent or caregiver, how they're doing with that stress, what's going on with them. And so we actually offer parent-focused therapy. So this is not skill building. It's not parent coaching. It's checking in on you as a parent or a caregiver, seeing what you need and giving you a safe space with a psychologist who understands autism and understands kind of the unique way that that impacts your life. So that's pretty exciting. We can go to the next slide. Perfect. So this is the new service that I wanted to talk to you about. So Dr. Sarah Woods at our Tacoma campus has blended these two services. It's very exciting. So she is calling this collaborative therapeutic assessment. And what this is a service that is for children, adolescents, young adults who already have an autism diagnosis, but are trying to figure out how other diagnoses might fit into the way that their brain works and the way they view the world. So this is where people are saying, I already have an autism diagnosis, but I'm wondering about ADHD or wondering about OCD or wondering about PTSD. How does that fit in? And so what she does is she does a blend of assessment and evaluation, but also therapy to really identify strengths and to identify what tools a person may have to navigate their specific brain and how it operates. And so these are short-term therapy programs where a person and their family would meet with Dr. Woods for 7 to 12 sessions, and they would explore both additional diagnoses and therapy and therapeutic tools to address those challenges. And this can be something that is done hybrid. So there are some in-person sessions at our Tacoma campus. There are some telehealth sessions. And I believe what Dr. Woods told me is that older adolescents, young adults, it can be primary telehealth. For children, she's going to want a blend of in-person and telehealth. So that's a pretty cool service that not a lot of people are offering, and it's new. And so if you are someone who, or you know someone who already has an autism diagnosis, but you're still exploring other aspects of who you are and how your brain works, this would be a great service for you. All right, we can go to the next slide. Other therapies and interventions that we offer. So we do offer ABA, or Applied Behavior Analysis services. And we offer this typically in our Seattle area, and we do in-home and in-clinic services. But we do also offer what we call short-term consultations. These are addressing specific concerns that can be addressed in 12 sessions or less. So many times ABA therapy is considered a long-term therapy, 6 months to several years, and cover a variety of skills and needs. This short-term consultation is focused on one specific thing, such as toilet training, and takes place in 12 sessions or less. We also offer a parent coaching only model, as well as the more traditional ABA services. And one thing that we've offered in the last couple of years are summer social groups. So summer social groups are short term, just during the summer, 90-minute groups done in a group setting. So just a couple of adults, lots of kids at our Seattle campus. And that is open to people outside of the Seattle area if they're willing to travel to our Seattle clinic for that. But unfortunately, what we've found in recent years is that there's such a need and desire for this that we're just sticking with internal referrals for now. If we find that we still have more spaces, we will post it on social media, put it in the emails, and open it up to outside families and who don't normally receive their services from us. Okay, next slide. Great. We also offer occupational therapy. Again, that's at our Seattle campus. We have a wonderful occupational therapist who's skilled in many areas. And we offer speech therapy. So our ongoing speech therapy is typically offered at our Seattle campus. That's, weekly or twice a month sessions. And they also do a great social group, and in the past have done a preteen girls group as well. We do pull off of our wait list for that and focus on internal referrals. But one thing that can be of real benefit to you all if you're not already in our system or you're not in that Seattle area is I would really encourage you to think about our AAC evaluation clinic. So AAC stands for Alternative and Augmentative Communication. So this is typically high-tech and low-tech communication devices. And one thing that we offer is we offer short-term help with that. So we offer a 2-hour AAC evaluation where you have a speech therapist who is looking at the many different programs that exist now for AAC and is really helping to determine which might be the best fit for this person, how large of a grid size, how many pictures are on each page, that sort of thing. And so they spend 2 hours looking at that. And then what they do is they will have several follow-up sessions for you, and sometimes can do a mix of telehealth and in-person, usually 4 or so sessions where they actually teach parents, caregivers, and the person themselves how to use that system, how to change it and adapt it and add pictures, all those important things that come from, with using a complex speech generating device. And so it really helps families to feel prepared to take an AAC device and really incorporate it into their lives. So this is something that generally has a pretty short wait. So if you are interested in an AAC device, maybe you work currently with a speech therapist who doesn't have that as a strength or a skill set, this is a great resource for you. And it typically is a pretty short wait, and something that you can, access pretty quickly. Next slide. We also have a couple programs that are on hold, but check back. So just letting you know. So in the past, we've had a sleep clinic, and we've done some really cool research on autism and sleep. That clinic is currently on hold, but we're always looking to get that up and running again. So keep us in mind for that. And we also have a really great feeding clinic that is interdisciplinary. And that one is also on hold, but again, check back. I see the question in the chat, is AAC service able to be billed through insurance? Yes, we do try to bill through insurance for that short-term AAC. And so, yeah, I would definitely encourage you all, if you're working with a speech therapist who doesn't necessarily have that as their background, we have some really strong speech therapists who love doing AAC and want to work with you on that. Our speech therapists also do the Hannon program. So Hannon, there's a couple programs one's called More Than Words and one's called Talkability. And these are really cool programs. They're a blend of group sessions where you're meeting with other families who have young autistic children who maybe are speech delayed, and then individual speech sessions. So these are, it's a blend of private pay and insurance. So the group sessions are private pay, and then your individual speech sessions are billed to your insurance. And the difference between the two programs is really about ages and the focus of the program. So More Than Words is designed for children under 5, and it's really about creating opportunities for communication, how to build natural play-based opportunities, and to really get the best start in communication for your child. And then Talkability has that same format of group sessions and individual sessions. It's designed for children 4 to 8 and has some different strategies involved. With both programs, these are run quarterly. And with both programs, there is financial assistance available. So if the thought of private pay for these group sessions is a barrier, still reach out. We do have ways to help with that. All right, next. Yep, so I mentioned these that are on hold. We can go next slide. One of the other services that we've been really happy to offer for the last 12 or so years is Apex Summer Camp. So Apex Summer Camp is a very fun, cool opportunity for autistic children and adolescents to be able to attend a day camp for about 4 weeks during the summer with people who are skilled and trained on how to best create the best experience for an autistic child. And so this is something that we typically open up registration for in about January. And this year we'll be having our Apex Summer Camp from July 6th to 31st. And this year, we've gone through a little bit of a transition. We have a new director. We've also changed our programming a little bit to make it more neurodiversity affirming and to really focus on friendship building through games and activities, but not focusing on neurotypical social skills, but more about giving kids opportunities to succeed where they're at and to build neurodiversity affirming friendships. As a result of some of those changes, we have limited our age group this year to 6 to 9 years old, but our plan is to expand in future years. In the past, we've offered it for many more ages. This year, our Apex Summer Camp will be at the Herring Center, which is in the Seattle campus location. And during that time, kids do all sorts of games, activities. There's been field trips. And parents get parent support and training. So they get a weekly meeting with some of our clinicians and experts to talk about different things. Registration for this year is still open, but it is limited. I think right now, especially, we're looking for, we have a lot of 6 and 7 year olds looking for anybody 8-year olds, 9-year olds who might be interested. Um, and then if you have a child who's outside of that age range or you missed it this year, just keep in mind that January 2027, we will probably open up for the next year. And this is again something that's private pay, but there is financial assistance available.
Chelsea, if I can ask you,
Yeah,
Apex, do you happen to know if you are one of our lifespan providers?
I don't know for sure, but off the top of my head, I think we might be. I think
Okay,
so. Hmm.
I can double check and
Yeah.
yes. Okay, sorry,
Yeah,
didn't
no,
mean to
that's
put you on the
great.
spot.
Yeah, no, and I do know that we have also been making sure that we can DDA respite funds as well is something that
Awesome.
we're either in process or have confirmed that we can use those funds.
Perfect. Thank
Yeah,
you.
of course. Good question. And then we have our short-term ABA program. We call this ABA Launch. So this is at both our Seattle and our Tacoma campus. Our ABA Launch is just our name for a statewide program called the Medicaid Day Program, which offers 48 days of ABA therapy, weekly speech therapy, and then a parent coaching and parent training component. The design of this program is that there's little to no wait um, for these services. So this is something that the state created in order to address long wait times for autism interventions. And so we have kept to that. We have a pretty short wait. Our Seattle campus usually has a pretty quick turnaround. Tacoma might be a little bit longer. We offer both AM and PM time slots. So we have one session in the morning and one session in the afternoon. So kids who are going to developmental preschool, you can kind of work it into their schedule. And this program is limited to ages 0 to 6. Most of the kids who come through our program are ages 2 to 3. We'll also get 4, 5, and 6-year-olds as well. But this is a great way to just kind of jumpstart autism therapies and interventions. And our particular program is done in a neurodiversity affirming way. We do a lot of naturalistic teaching. We bring in a lot of speech therapy concepts. And our goal is to really set the standard for what ABA therapy can be and should be. And I like to say we like to give parents like a super high bar for ABA so that they really know what quality ABA looks like going forward and they can identify whether they have a good neurodiversity affirming provider or not. Um, the question, do you help families that are being supported with early intervention speech therapy get an AAC device? So we do have partnerships with some early intervention programs in the area, and we help them. We've done diagnostic evaluations and partnerships with them. I don't know if we have a direct relationship for AAC devices, but we would, if a person were to sign up on our website and ask to get a spot at the AAC clinic, we would absolutely provide that AAC evaluation to that person. And we can work with their current speech therapist to kind of coordinate care. One thing our amazing speech therapists have done in the past, especially if someone's been in the ABA launch program, is they will actually teach speech therapists how to get these devices because not all speech therapists know how to like order that device through insurance, that sort of thing. But they don't, they can provide coordination of care in that area. And then you could also just, sign up as a auxiliary service as well. Okay, we can go to the next slide. All right, so those are our clinical services. So as you can see, we're doing a lot, but that's not the only thing the Autism Center does. So our 3 pillars are clinical services, research, and training. So now I'm going to go to the other two pillars here. So we'll start with research. So one of the things our Autism Center has done for a long time is autism research. Um, and we um, we have several research projects going. We have been doing one called the Infant Brain Imaging Study, or IBIS, for many years. And this is a research study where we look at infants who have an older sibling. Right now, that older sibling doesn't necessarily have to have an autism diagnosis. And we take that infant and we do developmental testing and we do MRI scans at 6, 12, and 24 months. And our goal there is to really see how the brain changes, and track which siblings may get diagnosed with autism later, and compare those data sets. So that's something that we're always actively recruiting for. If you know of an infant or a family that would be interested in that study. We also are always looking for infants with Down syndrome. So we have an infant Down syndrome study that's a very similar study where we are doing brain scans and looking at their development. And so we are always looking for and recruiting infants 0 to 12 months with Down syndrome, and families who are interested in contributing to research. Our IBIS study, like I said, has been going on for many years and is now expanded into many different variations. So one of the variations we have now is IBIS school age. And this is where we are researching children who have an autism diagnosis, ages 7 to 12. And we also reach back out to these families after the initial research and continue to track them for as long as they would like to participate. And we're currently doing a study on executive function. So we're working with families of elementary school children to look at executive function and strategies that may help them. And so we're doing lots of cool stuff on the research side of things and really trying to contribute where we can, to the discussion of autism and autism research. All right, we have a few questions. Is there a wait list for Dr. Wood's program in Tacoma? How does one sign up? So everything I'm talking about, you sign up on our website. So you would go to our website. There's a button there to register for services, and you would fill out that, and that gets you on our wait list. So one of the beautiful things about what we do is we don't require doctors' referrals. It's purely about you as a family member or a person signing up and getting on our website. And then, yes, oldest age that we work with depends on the clinical service. So many of our services are aimed toward children, but we do have some services for adults, such as the psychotherapy or Dr. Wood's collaborative therapeutic intervention. And we do some speech therapy for adults as well. But most of our services are aimed toward children. All right, some of these questions I will get to you also at the end, so I'll save some of that. We can go to the next slide. We also have a program through our research called On Time Autism Intervention Project, and this is a research and community partnership. This is where a program where we take our autism experts, our autism clinicians, and we really reach out and build relationships with early intervention providers. And our goal is to spread autism knowledge and awareness to early intervention providers in order to help families and clinicians feel confident that they are getting autism services as soon as possible. So we used to call it, the reason this is named On Time is because we don't believe in early intervention, we believe in on-time intervention. And so our goal is to reach families as soon as possible so that they get the services right when kids really need it. So some of the things that we do is we do echoes, which is a a free collaborative training. We do that for early intervention providers. We've provided a ton of resources online through this on-time autism intervention projects, including a great parent-friendly podcast about autism services. There's a number of workbooks on there about how to helping families decide whether or not to pursue an autism evaluation, resources, questions to ask ABA providers, things like that. So it's a great resource for early intervention providers and for families. Next slide. And then finally, we have our training and consultation team. So like I said, we have our three pillars. We have clinical services, research, and training. So the training, our goal is to spread accurate neurodiversity affirming information about autism and to as many people as possible. So the way that we do this is we do it through community trainings. We have community organizations reach out to us and ask us to come do a training for their audience, for their staff. We've done this for libraries. We've done this for doctors' offices. We've done this for schools. We have trainings that are already built that we can kind of take anywhere. We also can do customized trainings for a specific organization or specific audience. We also do webinars frequently. So we'll do lunch and learns about different topics. Those are open to parents and clinicians and community members. And then we do consultations. So consultations are a way for us to take our autism knowledge into settings where people are looking for that knowledge and how to integrate it into what they do. So we do student consultations. This is when schools will ask us to come in and provide recommendations about a specific student. We'll do classroom consultations where we actually go into classrooms and we talk about how to make those classrooms more neurodiversity affirming, how to help set up systems so that no matter what type, kind of student or type of brain walks into that classroom, there are things in place to support them. And then we do clinical consultations, and these are usually other clinicians such as psychologists, early intervention providers, social workers, who meet with us regularly to kind of learn more about autism and how that impacts their work. We do this statewide, and we've actually done it out of state as well, but our goal is to really reach every area of Washington. So we work a lot with smaller districts who are in rural areas. We do that over Zoom. We'll go visit them. We've done trainings in places that are really hard to get to in Washington. And that's one of the things that I love about it, because we know that resources are really concentrated in this area, but are maybe more challenging to find in other parts of Washington, and we want to change that. Next slide. And then finally, this is our last thing that I just want to talk about is we have a website that I'd love to point you all to for resources. It's called AS360. And AS360 is a partnership with Seattle Children's. We've had this website for about 10 years, and we're constantly looking at how to improve it, make it better. But what it is it's a resource guide. So we have a number of different providers and resources on there. What I like about it is you can actually look at it on a map. So rather than trying to find a speech therapist through your health insurance website and getting really lost on who's with who and does this person work with autism or not, the AS360 website, you can see on the map where each speech therapist is located. You know that they work with autistic children and adults. And you can even sort it by ages or by whether they accept Medicaid or not. There's also a number of autism information resources on that website. We offer checklists for the diagnosing process and that sort of thing. And then we have a community interaction portion as well. So you can create an account and you can actually interact with other AS360 members on kind of like a message board to share resources, share ideas. So that's a great one. And if for all of you who are here as providers, I would say if you're not on this resource guide, if you want to be added, go ahead and shoot me an email. I can put my email in the chat and I will connect you with our AS360 coordinator who can add you as a resource because we want to create a really comprehensive list and be kind of a good stop for people who are looking for more. All right, so as I said, all of these things can be accessed on our website. So if you go to the next slide, I would really encourage you to stay informed. Visit our website. We have a really wonderful uh, email list that goes out, and we will send out regular updates. But this is really where you get connected with us. This is how you sign up for all of these great services. So hit our website, sign up, and then follow us on social media or through AS360 for all the other things that we're going to do. All right.
Awesome. So
Yeah.
Chelsea, while you are giving you just a moment to read, I went ahead and PM'd you a couple of questions that were
Sure.
outliers and a note that was to you. So while you're reading that, I'm just
Yeah.
pulling up that AS360. Thank you, Leah, for putting the link in the chat. Oh my goodness, I'm already in love because I love a good database resource. So I'm looking on here going, look at all the things. So I just
Yeah.
want to give you a second to catch up on those questions,
Yeah.
and I will mute myself again. Go ahead.
Sure, no problem. Okay, so I saw a question about whether the AAC service can be utilized with also with ongoing speech services. That's a question I don't know the answer to, but I can find out. Um, I think that I think that some of that would depend on the specific insurance. But I will ask our wonderful speech therapy staff that question. Um, and then, yeah, breakdown for our 4 autism evaluation appointments. So I will do my best. This is not my area of expertise, but typically how it works, right, is we will have the first one will be an interview portion where we will talk to families and to that person about what they're seeing, their history, that sort of thing. So this is usually a conversational piece. Um, then typically there is 1 to 2 appointments of testing, and this is where we use an evidence-based uh, testing, such as the ADOS module or the TAP module, which is a telehealth toddler module. And then we have a results sharing appointment. And so that results sharing appointment, we talk through the diagnosis if one was given, but we also have resources, and we spend some time talking about what autism is, what it's not, and really trying to help families orient themselves in a neurodiversity affirming way. And then finally, we do tend to follow up. So our clinicians here are really amazing. Uh, we have clinicians who will email families that they have given a diagnosis to just to say, hey, have you found something yet? Do you need anything else? And so that's not part of that 4 appointment, but it is something I see happen really regularly because, we really care about what we do, and we know that getting an evaluation is just the first step. It's more about getting the support you need after. And so we never want to leave a family hanging. We try to always connect them to whatever we can. Let's see here.
That's all of the questions that I saw
All
in the
right.
chat. And I'm looking, I don't see any other. Oh, there's one more.
Love it. Um, yes. Is there a best way to contact person help me identify possible services for adults over 18 who are diagnosed HD, but not currently receiving any services? Yeah, absolutely. So I would really encourage you to look at that webinar, the Could I Be Autistic? It sounds like you are working with people who are already diagnosed, but as part of that webinar, we do have a resource list that The creators of that webinar put together that includes people in the area who do diagnose adults, as well as resources for connecting to the larger autistic community, which, to my understanding, is really the most important part of that webinar is about understanding yourself, but understanding how you fit into the larger autism community, finding people who understand you, and then finding services as well for the areas where things are a challenge. So I would definitely check out that webinar and the resources that are associated with that.
All right. I see a thank you in the chat, and
Sure.
I'm going to go ahead and stop our recording. So give me just one moment to do that as I find that button. I feel like it's always moving.